All right, joining me now on the King, Romeo Travis, Dru Joyce. Where else can you go when you want to talk about, high school LeBron St Vincent St Mary's, a dynasty? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Andrew, thanks for having us both, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. I was telling these guys before we got started, I've seen more than a game about 5,000 times. Had to watch it one extra time just to make sure the producers didn't go back in and add anything that I missed. So I checked it out last night. But before we start talking about all that stuff, Romeo, I'll start with you. We're recording this right after the Lakers game. What do you think? This team, they got a chance to get, title number 5 for LeBron, second in a row?
History is more likely to repeat itself than to change. So for me, if I watch history, you see they lose the first game of frequently in a lot of series. And people tend to overreact and it's the end of the world and blah, blah, blah. And then, they go on and win the next 4 games, gentleman's sweep, as they call it. So I'm not overreacting quite yet. Their offense does kind of bother me because of the lack of scoring and fire punch. But other than that, I'm not too concerned just yet.
And how about you, Dru? What are you thinking?
I'm not worried at all. It's one of those things. It's been here before, right? I don't want to call it a fill-out game, but as I watched the game, I just didn't think. I thought the Lakers got good shots. They got some makeable shots that they didn't make to stay in the game today. So, I mean, their objective at the end of the day is to split, right? You go on the road, you want to get one. You come back with a road win. That's a huge swing. So, he's been down this road before. The Lakers been down this road before. So, I mean, there's no reason to call in panic yet.
Do you guys ever, text each other during the game or text any of your old friends or teammates after something will happen? You'll be like, damn, it's been 20 years and LeBron's still doing that same shit. We've been telling him for years to cut it out. There's got to be something. You're laughing like there's got to be something.
I really like to keep to myself during the game. I don't like to hear a whole lot of opinions, right? Like I'm okay. That's my thing. I get into coach mode when I'm locked in. I'm not reacting to almost anything until the final goes off. That's my approach to the game. So I really don't want to hear from a lot of people because it annoys me. So even these guys, my friends, I don't want to hear anything they got to say, right? I don't want anybody disrupting my game mode with maybe a complaint or Bron's got to do this guy should be doing that. I'm not trying to hear any of it. I just want to lock in.
Yeah, for me, I watch the games at home most of the time by myself, just so I can digest the game, so I can see the sets they're running, and I can kind of get a better feel for the game. For some odd reason, my people like to text me during the game, like I want to talk to anybody right now. I don't want to talk to anybody. It's not just you in particular. Like, like I don't want to talk to anybody because I'm really trying to watch the game. Like I'm not trying to be entertained. Like, I'm not here to watch just NBA guys. I'm really trying to digest the game and really see what's going on. I can't do that if my phone keeps buzzing off and people want to send memes in the group chat. Like, it's funny, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, let's focus on the game. And then after the game, we could talk about everything you want to talk about.
I'm taking notes here because I almost texted you guys in that group text that we have about the game the other night against the Warriors. So now I'm very happy that I did not because I feel like you guys would have been like, all right, we're done with this guy. He's bugging us too much.
No, we would have just ignored you, man. It wouldn't have been personal though. Just know it ain't personal.
Post game is cool, right? You want to talk, you want to get everything off your chest. Come post game, feel free. Let's digest it. Like I'm okay with that, but not during the middle of the game.
Right.
I got a friend. I'm not gonna put him out there. That I can't hear that noise.
I feel that. So I want to go back, and before we get to high school, I'm going to go a little before it, just for a little bit. Dru, I don't know if this happened in high school, and if it did, you can take it to high school. But do you have a moment that sticks out in your mind when, playing with LeBron or maybe watching, where you're like, all right, this is the real deal. This is not just like the best guy in my city. This is a player right here.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it before high school, just because we played AAU ball together, right? So when you play in AAU, you start getting out of your area. So, I mean, one of our parents used to keep stats, right? They used to keep stats, and it was good. Her stats were good, and this dude always had 20, always picked up rebounds, assists. He was just filling up the stat sheet. 9 times out of 10, he was all tournament team, MVP. So I'm seeing that statewide. Then I see it on a national level too with the bigger tournaments. So by the time I would say in 7th or 8th grade, I knew, like, I didn't know this was going to happen. No, I didn't know that. But I knew, I'm like, dude is good. I haven't seen anyone that's been better, right? Whether it was New York, California, Texas, I hadn't seen a kid that matched up to him.
Well, I heard about this Carmelo Anthony guy, and I was like, whatever.
Hey, and I honest to God, right? Honest to God. So that's more high school. And, like, I was just that way. Like, you could throw any player out there, and I was just like, because no one was living up compared to him, right? There was all these comparison, or this guy is better. And when I would see them in actual gameplay, I'm like, it's not even close. Carmelo was the X factor, though. That
Yes,
was
he
close.
Melo
I was like,
was that deal.
I could have said that. I'm glad I didn't say that before the game even happened. But in my mind, going into the game, I was like, man, it's just a night with a ring that, that Bron's clearly better in. And he warned us too. Like, he was like, "Oh, Carmelo legit." That's where you get that comment from. I'm like, man, I ain't trying to hear that.
So obviously those games would be played up a little more when it was like the stars, and the NBA even does that now. Like, all the promos are like, it's Luka versus Kawhi, it's Ja versus, I guess, Rudy Gobert because Donovan Mitchell's out. But, they really play up the star power. Romeo, when you knew that those star games were coming, were you like, damn, there's not going to be any focus on me? Or were you like, all right, now it's time for me to put on a show, and they're going to be hyper-focused on LeBron. I can come out here and drop 25 on my own.
For me, the best thing about our team was everybody knew their role, and everybody knew what they were good at. And so no matter who we played, our roles were kind of similar, so it wasn't like it's time for me to go out here and do what I'm supposed to do. I'm thinking, like, if this guy's a big name and I just go do what I'm supposed to do, everybody's going to be like, oh, wow, this guy can play. Like, I always knew that I didn't have to go out there and do anything extra or special to stand out. I just need to do my job. And if I did my job, I would stand out because, I got the minutes, I got the opportunities. So they both were there. You just got to not mess up. Like, when you're playing with a guy that good, just don't mess up. Like, he's going to put you in a position to be successful. You just got to be successful.
How many layups have you guys missed? Easy layups in your lives playing with LeBron, where he does a crazy pass or a cool pass, and it's so easy and you just smoke it. I mean, I can't even imagine. No offense, but I'm just saying, the pressure.
That same look he gives the teammates when they miss open shots, that's nothing new. Where he looks over his shoulder like, you got to make that type. I mean, that's been him. Like, if he throws you open and you're a shooter or a finisher, he expects you to do it. You know what I mean? Be good at what you do. Be ready. The worst thing you can do is, like, not be ready, right?
And
not
you could
be
drop
ready
the ball.
and not
If
shoot
you
it.
drop the ball or don't shoot it, oh my, he's gonna be so mad at you.
That's even worse.
But yeah, he's not a rah-rah angry guy. Like, he's not going to do all the cursing, but he's going to give you this look where he's like, man, like, you just don't want to look at him because he's giving you that look, like that same scowl.
It's gonna be real quick. Come on, Rome. Come on,
Come
Rome.
on. Yeah, you be like, all right, man. Dang, man, my bad. I got you. But yeah, there's definitely in the hundreds though.
I wouldn't miss a layup. I wasn't going down there like that.
So, Romeo, you came into the team after a championship. And it wasn't just a championship. It was a championship where your buddy Dru decided he's going to make about 15 threes, and it's going to be a big-time story. Who acted more like it was their team when you showed up, LeBron or Dru?
Well, it's always Dru's team. So I don't LeBron might have been the best player, but it's Dru's team. Like, Dru was our leader. Dru was the guy who's going to come grab you by your collar. He's going to come and tell you, like, what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, where you could be better. He's going to hold you accountable, not because he's better than you, because he wants better for you. Like, he wants better for you. So he's not holding you accountable because he's the greatest player in the world. No, he wants better for you so you can play better for the team. So he's going to hold you accountable. And the best thing about Dru is he holds himself to an even higher standard than he holds his teammates. So it's not a one, like, we all could accept criticism from each other because it wasn't a one-sided thing. Like, he's not telling me something for him. He's telling me something for me. And so it's always Dru's team. LeBron might have been the best player, but Dru was our leader and one of our captains.
What do you think of that, Dru? You agree?
Like, I was probably more of the vocal guy, right? Bron was more example, led by his play, and had a certain poise. So there was a balance to us, right? But, of course, I couldn't do the things he did. So I took it upon myself a little bit to be better, or try to be better with my leadership. I went overboard thousands of times. But, I mean, these guys, and our relationship was so good that, these guys accepted me for who I was. They all thought I was crazy and out of my mind. But, and probably wanted to fight me dozens of and did. But they let me be me, right? They let me be me. Even if they didn't want to hear, they got through it, whatever I had to say, and just kept going, and that's why these guys, because they didn't let my craziness really affect them like that. They were just like, that's Dru over there. He's losing his mind, but he wants us to be better. But from that perspective, I think all of us had a piece of it, right? We all had a certain accountability level to us, right? Where we ran our own practice, right? Pops couldn't get to us, right? We could have easily just like, nah, coach ain't here today. All five of us just stepped up, did every drill the exact way, and it was, it was like clockwork. So when you see that from not just myself and Bron, but from all the seniors, all five of us on the team, it's really a unit.
So something that I've always wondered, like every time I watch more than a game, really, it's just, I think about it with all, big time legit high school teams and high school players. What were the relationships like between you guys and LeBron and like the random kids in your science classes where like they're doing their homework and you're, all right, I'm going to do my homework later. I got to go play Carmelo Anthony on ESPN real quick and have Dickie V announce it. So I'm curious what the relationships were like with, the random students at school.
To be honest, we was cool. Like, like 60% of them liked us. The 40, they hated us. But 20 of them were silent haters. So you didn't know they hated. So you felt like 80% of the people liked you. Like, so like most of them really, we didn't walk around with a basketball player. I'm a basketball player. I'm too cool to talk to you mentality. Like, we were cool with everybody. We joked with everybody. We didn't try to be like, I'm bigger than you. I'm better than you because I play a sport. Like, I don't feel like any one of us were that type of person. to this day, none of us are that type of people, because we just enjoyed the school life. We enjoyed the normalcy of it, and so therefore we wasn't trying to alienate ourselves from our classmates.
That's a good answer. That's a great answer, actually. That was the perfect answer, the one I was looking for. The complete opposite. I probably should take it back to the court. That's just something I've always wondered.
Yeah. No, we were just trying to, like you just want to be cool. Like you just want to hang out and don't, because you already stick out so much. We go to an all-white Catholic school. We're black. We wear, our clothes a little bit too big. We wear our boots untied. We should be cleave shaven. We got a little mustache. Like, we already stand out like so much. Like you don't want to stand out anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you just try to be cool and just try to fit in and blend in and be a part of the culture that they were creating, because we created something on the court, but off the court, you wanted to blend in with what they had going on.
Makes complete sense. I love it. It makes sense.
Sure.
Practice. There's some clips from practice. Obviously, you guys have a little more, clips in here than the clips that I've seen watching more than a game. Who was the biggest, you guys are running fives to finish practice. Who was like I got Bron, at the end of every practice?
Depends on the year, honestly. We guys, a lot of guys filtered at that backup three position because they knew they wasn't going to play a lot. So it depends on the year. We had a couple really good players come through there. Sekou Lewis, he took the challenge a lot our junior year on LeBron. Carlos Mays, our sophomore year. And then, our senior year, who was it, Jasmine? Dru?
It may have been Will. Because Will didn't start.
Yeah, so Willie McGee took the challenge a lot. It really didn't matter, Marcus Johnson.
Does it really matter?
It
didn't really matter who was guarding.
And no, honestly though, coach
just a hand.
Yeah, coach would put him against four starters. It would be him with four bench guys, and then us four starters against him, and that's how really we ran practice most of the time. And it would be probably Willie gardening. But Chill did the best he could. You can only act so much of anybody at that point.
Drew,
what you're gonna get.
We would also start certain. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say to add to that, we would also start certain drills with a deficit, right? I remember we would do a transition drill and we would already be down 20 points and have to come back. If he was with the starters, right, we would start with a deficit and just have to play our way back into the game.
Yeah, we're like down 20 with 5 minutes, and we gotta win or we gotta run. And so those were the type of drills and stuff. And so you're gonna find a way to come back. Like you're gonna figure it out, So you don't want to run for that type of stuff.
So obviously you guys have had, you had your own basketball careers. For some reason, it feels like people forget that. Like you had your own basketball careers. You guys actually had time together at Akron. Do you think, obviously he has at the very least a little bit. Do you think there's a lot of positive impact that LeBron has left on your long-term basketball careers?
Absolutely. For me, just seeing one of the greatest players in the country, in the world, consistently work as hard as he does, you kind of look at yourself in the mirror like, who am I to not work that hard? Like, who am I to kind of like not even try to beat that? Because if you sit around and you see somebody as good as him, hey, we at the gym at 8 tomorrow. Like, dang, 8? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so you're like, all right, I'm there, And so, like, for me, not even just LeBron, just Dru as well, because Dru worked just as hard as LeBron, even back in high school. So being around that type of work ethic has, like, rubbed off on me. And that kind of helped me transcend my game and become a different player and just learn how to work hard, and not just work in the gym, be in the gym for 2 hours just to say I'm in the gym, but like, work hard and efficient and get to the point and not just waste time. So that was something that's a long lasting effect for me. I need to go get a phone charger because my phone's about to die. So I'll be right back.
Drew, me and you can handle in the meantime. I got a good question for you. All right. What were the open gym runs like? Whether you guys were in Akron or, you went up to Cleveland, were you always like, if you went and you were playing with people you didn't know, were you always like, I'm with Bron, this is our team? Would you show up with your 5 guys and just run the court for hours?
We did like to first off, the open gyms were epic, right? Through my time in high school, through college, and even into my professional years were absolute. It's where my game grew, right? No matter, like, we could do all the practice and stuff in the world, but my game would grow in those segments. So, I mean, if we go back to high school, we would really try to stick, come with our 5 guys, whether we were playing at St. V or playing somewhere else. And it was good because we were so young, right? But we're playing varsity, So our core group of guys were sophomores. Everyone else in the city or surrounding the city are more juniors, seniors, and we're going against them every day, right? So all the local schools, they would bring their 5, and we just be in a hot gym, just playing for hours, right? So that was the high school. And then what made high school great is our older guys that graduated would come back and play, right? We had some dogs, right? Before we got to St. V, we graduated. Well, Maverick Carter was state player of the year. We had these guys, I'm throwing out local legends now, but Tarver Twins, these guys were, JUCO All-Americans, and they would come back to our practices in the middle of the year sometimes just to beat up on us, right? Just to physically beat up on us. But it made us so good. Like, people underestimate what it is to go against older competition, right? Older guys that play and know how to play. If you pay attention and you really go out there and really try and give everything you can, you're going to learn so much. It's impossible not to learn, right, from good players. It's impossible not to go learn from good players. But that's high school. When it got to college and Bron was in the pros, now he's bringing Cavs into the gym. Other pros who are in town are into the gym. And me and Rome, we got our 5 guys from Akron. There's guys from other local colleges, and we're just getting better. Like I said, once again, you're playing against guys who do this every day for their job. Like, you don't have any choice but to get better. I miss those runs. They were that good. Like, I'll rewind the clock just to go back to those. Like, take me back to those open runs because they were legendary, man. We had a guy who used to pick the teams, and he's writing on the clipboard.
Chris Dennis. Shout out to Chris Dennis.
Give him a shout out, Chris Dennis.
We had referees, everything, man. To me, that's one. Me and Drew got in a fight in one open gym. He kept saying I kept setting illegal screens, but like that's how intense they were. It wasn't like just we walking up and down the court. Your turn. No, we like, hey, come set this pick and roll. You roll hard, you fill up. Like, this is just open gym. And so you learning this type of stuff again in open gym. And that's not mentioned when Bron had his All-American camps. And so he's bringing NBA guys, and then we playing against high school All-Americans, future NBA guys, so we had an opportunity to really play against some really good guys, like some gyms we didn't deserve to be in at times. We got to get on the court and, play against some upper echelon guys, man. And so I think that a lot of guys be ducking each other, even at their own age. These young kids, they don't want to play against certain guys. They don't want to do certain things. Like, for me, to me, you got to play whoever. To be the best, you got to play the best. Even if you lose, you're going to learn. But a lot of these guys nowadays, they running from each other. I'm only playing in certain tournaments against certain. Coach Drew, if they called us, we answered the phone. We on the way. We playing. And that's just how it was back then.
So did you have any early on in LeBron's career, were there any pickup games that you guys were invited to where it was like LeBron was grabbing the stars from around the league? You know, it was Kobe, Chris Paul, D Wade. And were there any open gym runs that you guys were involved in that are like what we see now with all these guys playing over the summer?
I remember one time in Chicago. You remember that Chicago run?
Hey, still hurt right here. Still hurt.
Man, they treated us so bad in Chicago. Like it was like we was like the ugly fat girl at prom. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like they treated us. They were playing fives, and they told us to go to this other court and get some shots up. And if they had a space for us, they would call us.
Well, who was it?
Like,
who was it?
It was all NBA guys, you know. So
Yeah.
like Antoine
It was
Walker,
Tim Grover's
Michael.
gym. I'm gonna put him out there. Tim Grover
I wasn't gonna go
came
there.
to us. Yeah, nah, it is what it is.
I wasn't gonna go
us.
all the way there.
I'm taking it there. It still hurt. I'll let Tim know it hurts if I ever get a chance to talk to it. But you know what? You know, it just burnt my fire, man. I still remember that. Like, man, this dude he told us, like, hey, you guys ain't in the NBA. Y'all not playing. I was just so like hurt that a trainer came over and tapped me like, hey, man, just come over here, man. Let's just, and I heard, well, man, we was getting loose. We was ready to play. I'm like, man, I'm going to show out today. I'm going to have a good day. I know it.
This is my moment. This is my moment. I'm ready. It was like that moment, man, where you just ready and somebody just tell you like, it ain't happening. And it humbles you, you know, because you get so much access and like, you know, access through affiliation. And it kind of gives you that false sense of like, it's you until they tell you it's not you. Like, you know, it's like, hey, you know, it's just because of Brown. Like, dang, man, like all this time, you know, they let me, I'm playing, like I even went to New York and played with Sebastian Telfair in one of their games. And, you know, so I'm just thinking like, man, like, you know, and then I get over here, he just told us like, y'all ain't playing. And so we had to go on the side court and just get shots up.
I got a great workout in though.
I mean, you're going to get that work up there. They're going to give you some great workouts. They got great trainers. I'm not saying nothing negative about none of that. Because that ain't what, but y'all ain't playing.
Hey, I mean, like it hurt, but at the end of the day, like Rome said, it was levels, right? It was levels. These guys, hey, it's 12 NBA guys in the gym. It ain't for you. It's not for you today, right? No matter how bad I wanted to be out there, like I didn't act a fool. Like I was hurt, but I moved on. Like I said, I got some shots up, picked up a new move. I was good. I still remember though. I ain't forget.
Yeah, that's gonna stick with me. They sent us down to the court. I think the lights was a little dimmer down there too. I don't know. I feel like
I want to see him again just so I can tell him my story. And like, man, you hurt that day, man.
He probably don't even remember. That's the funny thing about it. Like he probably do it all the time. He don't even think about it twice.
Probably.
So everyone watched The Last Dance, and the biggest thing was like a random person would whisper something in, you know, MJ's ear, and then he would do something crazy the next game in result of that. Do you guys have any stories in high school that, you know, even though seems like the most covered high school team ever, it was still, you know, 20 years ago, not the same, you know, mic'd up technology, stuff like that. Do you have any stories where you're like, all right, this is a legendary, like had to be there, had to hear it to believe it, high school LeBron story?
I got two I can remember off the top of my head. One was we were in practice and I don't remember who said it, but somebody said that like I can guard you, like I know all your moves. And he said I will score on you every possession left-handed. And he really scored. Every time he shot the ball, he scored left-handed for a whole day in practice. Like he really, so like I was like, man, like that's when it really like, man, this dude is crazy. I can't believe he just like, you know, it hurt me because you can't help the person. Like, you know, they like you made this bitch. You got to lay in it. Like I can't help you, but you can't just be talking crazy. And the next one was I think it was Trevor Ariza's mom or Trevor Ariza. She had said that in the newspaper that her son is just as good as LeBron and he don't get enough credit. And, and LeBron was coming off a suspension for the jerseys and all that stuff. And he had 52, I think, and they had 51 as a team.
He outscored them.
I think he had like 52 or something.
And the
and
team
so he
had
was
51?
I believe
he
so.
outscored their whole team.
Yeah. But the kicker is they had 8 pros on that team. They had 8 pros. I mean, 8 Division I guys. I know at least 5 of them went pro. I know that for a fact. But they had 8 Division I guys on that team, and they had 51 points that game, and he had 52.
We just played a lot of defense,
Yeah, that's
was
okay.
great.
We're gonna get after
great
you.
defense by us right there.
What about you, Drew? You got any stories?
Man, now that's probably the main one, and that Trevor Ariza story. And the thing about it, I don't think he actually said it, right? It was someone in his camp, like Rome said. It was maybe his mom or something, but he heard the whispers. Bron has never been big with trash talk, any of that. It's just like, that's how you feel, that's how you feel. We'll see when we get to this court. And I mean, he did what he wanted. I mean, there were schools who wanted to get into that. I think the coldest thing we did is we showed up to a playoff game. It was a semifinal game, right? We had been hearing this team talk all year, right? Remember, Rome? We have been hearing them. I'm not Central Howard. We have been hearing them, right? It's a local team. We're going to meet in the playoffs. We've been hearing them for the last year, just talking about they're ready, they're going to beat us. And we showed up to their game, watched their game, watched them win, stood up and just clapped. All 12 of us just clapped. and then straight walked out the gym. And then we went 2 days later and beat them by about 25, 30. So it was cold.
Yeah,
I remember that. That was a cold thing. That was a cold move.
That was epic, right? That was epic right there.
And when we wore suits to the game because we said it was a business trip.
That was Columbus. We played Columbus Brookhaven. We all wore suits. It was a business trip. I remember that.
That's good. I like when teams wear black on Game 7 because they say it's a funeral.
It's a funeral. Yeah, man. We were trying to be humble. We really tried to be humble. We really tried to not disrespect anybody's teams. We really tried. But people would talk to us. People would initiate conversations with us. You're not this, you're not that. And so, like, we would be, for the most part, besides Shion, most of us would just be like, all right, Shion's going to talk to you and he going to do whatever he want to do to you. So that makes it the worst part. But, like, for the most part, all of us were kind of humble, respectful guys because, we just gonna whoop on you and call it a day.
I got a couple quick rapid fire questions to finish us off.
Uh-oh.
The first one, you guys go out to dinner. It's the old boys. LeBron's picking up the check, right?
I picked up one check one time. But it was early. I thought I was doing something, but I was smart. It was like an Applebee's. I was like, yeah, I got this one today. But he's picking up the check.
He's picking up the check, man. And for me, I always ask him, you got this? Or you need a little help? You need a little help with this one? So just so you know, like, I'm not expecting anything, if you buy it, cool. But if you don't, I can still afford to buy my own dinner. Like, we call those people tab dancers. They come in, they order a whole bunch of stuff they don't normally order. They how's the crab here? Like, man, you don't eat crab on a normal day. Don't do it today. But we call them people tab dancers.
I just can't imagine LeBron being like, all right, Drew, you got 2 vodkas. Venmo me $17.86. Rome, I need you to Zelle me for the fries because the fries are extra.
No, he's never been that kind of guy. Even before we all had money, and we all don't have money now. But even before we start going pro or whatever, it never was about the money. Like, it never was about who can afford what. It was always whatever we can do, we're gonna do it together type thing.
Next question, Dru, Romeo, are you guys in Space Jam?
You have to wait and see. It's going to be a surprise.
We got a second Dru coming into the call. Hold on.
I think his phone died. You on your computer now?
I'm back, fellas. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You missed a very important question.
I heard that question.
Are you in Space Jam?
Tell him, Dru.
Gotta see.
It's going to be a surprise.
Can you get me tickets to the premiere?
I probably can't get tickets for all my kids. I got 4 kids, so somebody might have to stay at home. I don't know. It's the limited seating.
I think that's all the questions I'm going to bug you guys with. I could talk to you guys about LeBron and about stories for probably 24 hours straight, but I'm not going to do that to you. But I am going to keep texting you because now we're friends, and that's how this works. Friends keep in touch. But seriously, I appreciate you guys coming on. I know eventually it probably gets to the point where you're like, I'm kind of done talking about this stuff, which is why I tried to, ask you questions about yourselves and keep it, all knowing. But I really do appreciate it. If I'm ever in Ohio, I'll be in Ohio for TBT. If you guys are playing or coaching or whatever, we'll link up for sure.
Yeah, I'm
retired from TBT. I may be around, but I'm retired in all facets.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm for sure going to be a GM. I don't know if I'm going to be a GM player coach. Like I said, I haven't been working out, so I doubt I throw myself in that kind of fire again. He said it's the end of July.
Oh, you got
about.
Dust off the knee braces, man. You got time.
Man, I gotta talk to my big boss and see if I get paroled that weekend. I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna allow it. No, I don't know. It's too soon to tell, honestly. I gotta call Mike P and see what's going on.
All right. Well, thanks guys for coming on. I'm expecting to be an executive producer on More Than a Game too. So you got my info.
Who's making that?
maybe this is it right here. This is it right here.
By the way,
more than a game. More.